So today we're going to go over some of the inquiry commands. We'll go over how to use stretch, tables. We'll talk about title blocks and multi-lines. All right, so let's get started. I've already got a drawing open, and I'll just, as we go through, I'll go over the commands. Let's say I started drawing and, let me do it this way. Open. Sorry about that. I have this drawing open and it's one of the efficiency apartment exercises. Now, let's say I was working on it and you were working with somebody else in your company and you needed to know when this project was started and information on it. If you type the word status, S-T-A-T-U-S, in your command prompt and hit enter, what it's going to do is it's going to pop up with this information here. It tells you the area that you're looking at, the insertion points, the snap resolutions, grid spacing, what space you're in, like it says model space, layer, what's the current layer, the layer name, the color of it, etc. It also tells you what elevation. That means if you're at ground elevation or if you're working on architectural drawing, you might be on the second floor. Thickness, grid fill, all of this information is available to you as soon as you type in the word status. The other thing that it has in here, it tells you if you've got, wrong command. The other command that tells you the times the drawing was created and how long you've worked on it is the time command. So if I look at your drawing, I can see when the drawing was created and then when it was last updated, when you opened it and worked on the drawing, how long you've actually taken to do the drawing, and in time and hours. Okay. So if you wanted to know how long it took you to do a drawing, just hit time at the end. Now, a very useful command is going to be list and ID. So if I type in list, L-I-S-T, in the command prompt, and I say list this object right here, and I hit enter, what's going to pop up is going to tell you what layer it's on, it's in model space, it tells you the X, Y, and Z coordinates from the beginning to the end. It also tells you the length and the angle that's in the plane, the change in the X and the change in the Y direction. Okay? Now, you can use list on anything. You can use it on blocks, you can use it on lines, you can use it on circles, it doesn't matter. Okay? It tells you, usually like the last one said line here, now we're looking at a circle, what layer it's on, etc. It tells you the radius. Now, that is really similar if I type in properties. Here's my properties palette. I find the same information over here. Okay? So list is one way, but properties is another way. And that's why I'm such a big fan of properties. Now, you can type in area. That, remember before, is just being able to go, okay, what is the area of an object? Or if I said, and I pick an object, it'll tell me what the area is. Again, that same piece of information is over here on your properties. You can add and subtract areas, and I believe we used area command last time.
Yes, we did.
So we've got, the next one is ID. Now I use ID a lot specifically for points. Like when I click on this line, it has a beginning point and end point, right? Now I want to know the XY coordinate, XYZ coordinate of that point. I actually use the command ID. I hit enter, and I hit endpoint, and it tells me my coordinate XYZ of that point. This is very useful, specifically when I'm working in civil drawings and I have to actually know where an object is located in real space. Now, you can find that same information just by scrolling through and looking at your XYZ, whether at beginning or the end point. Okay, so your properties palette has a lot of useful information. In here, you could also find, you can see that you can find the, if I, instead of going ID for that point in the center of that circle, I could come over here and look at the center, X, Y, and Z, same effect, okay? It also will tell me, if I look down here, what the area of that circle is. So just understand that when you inquire something, you can do it using your property prowess, using ID, using list. You also have the ability, like I typically, underneath utilities, I don't typically use these pull downs for distance or area or anything like that, because I can get a distance by using my dimensions. And typically I do that and put it on a layer that I don't look at for the reason of, because I always want to go back, because I have a short-term memory problem some days, and if I just list it, within 2 seconds I forgot what I just looked at. So I'll do a dimension and leave the dimension on there until I'm good with the use of that. Okay? When you get older, you'll understand. Trust me. But the dimension is like saying, what's the length of this line to this line? And it'll tell you down here. Okay? Now you do have to make your box a little bit bigger so you can see all the information. Okay? But if I wanted, the same type of information can be found over in my properties. All right? Now, I'm going to pause here, and then the next thing we're going to look at is a couple more commands.